Hi friends, so today's video is on the this keyword concept in JavaScript. So before coming of this arrow functions in the regular functions which we had, there were some different context for this keyword value. So how it depends upon the way it being invoked, and what will be the value of that this keyword is being discussed in this video. So often in our interviews, we are asked about the difference between call, bind, and apply, difference between regular function and arrow function. So it all actually based on this keyword. So let's go through this video that so I'm discussing about regular functions, and the later part I'm discussing about the arrow function as well. So in the regular functions, the first way, if we are invoking the using function, so function invocation. In function invocation, this refers to the global object. So it's alone being like I have given an example. A function is given of display and we are just printing this. So what will be the output? So it is definitely going to be the window object, because we are running our code inside a browser, and the global object for the browser is the window object. So because of that, this refers to the uh, window object. I can just show you a snapshot. When we run this code in our for when we run this JavaScript, we will get this as the output, because here we are defining this function in a global context, and because of that, when we wanted to display this, it's actually referring to the window object. So that is what it's given being given in the console. So this was all about the function invocation. Now the next thing is object method invocation. That means a method was defined inside an object, and then we are actually accessing this. So the value in method invocation, this refers to the object that owns that method. So definitely it's going to refer to that object which is carrying that method. So value of this keyword will always be the object before the dot. Suppose whenever, sorry, so whenever we are actually defining an object, we often call the its method using a dot operator, right? So that is the example for here. We are actually defining an object with a name and a function, and here in the function we are actually printing that name using this dot name. So here you can see that I'm accessing this method, and name object dot get name, and I'm storing it in a variable, and then I am using that into an another object. So when I'm calling a method with the another object, it actually inside this is actually going to refer the dot before the object which is before this dot operator. So that's why the lx key, otherwise it should have been ln. So that is what the difference is. So this keyword in when the method of an object is being invoked, it actually refers to the object that it owns. So here this get name actually refers to the second object, so that's why we are actually obtaining this lx. Now the next invocation method is constructor invocation. So in constructor invocation, this refers to the newly created object, because whenever okay, so here if you can see, I'm defining a function, and I'm giving a property as high object, and then I'm creating its instance using the new keyword. So when I'm going to invoke the property of that instance, this keyword will be actually referring to the newly created object. So that's why it got referred to this object and it printed successfully. And then the next way is like the call, apply, and bind methods. So on all these indirect invocation, this refers to the first argument of the call, apply, and bind method. So the difference between this call, apply, and bind, I will be detailing it in another video. But this for this video, we are actually just focusing on this keyword. So I will just show you some example. Like just now we discussed about an ln and lx sample, right? So printing name. So here you can see that I'm taking this get name as name object dot get name, but I'm not giving it as a property for the second object, but I'm invoking it. So will I get the output? No, it's actually going to give me an error, even though we have defined a get name, or like we even though we have declared a variable using that making it known that it's an object function, but still we can't access this another object with that directly. We can't access it. So how we can access it then? So it is through this call, apply and bind method. So if we apply call, okay, so if we apply call, so we can use it into another object. A method in another object we can be used for other object through this way. So we are actually referring this first object dot get name and then dot call, and then we are going to give the new object. So this is how we can access another object's methods. So here the call will be having the first whatever is given as the first argument will be taken as the value of this. And I will show you the example for the apply as well. uh, it is not having any difference. It will be just having this apply and we will give the object name. So the main difference between this call apply is like the way we will give the argument. So it will be comma separated in call, and it will be array distributed in the apply. So that's the only difference. But here it's like we are just referring to this value. So what will be the value? It will be the first argument of this method. And then the next one, bind. So here in bind we are actually we need to return it, so and then we are invoking it. So that is the only difference. So here also the first argument refers to the this value. Okay, so that was all about the call, apply, and bind method. So now comes the arrow function. So when arrow functions were defined, it was very easy for the developers to use it, because this value will not change as per its execution context. It will be always referring to the outer function, this value. So this value inside of an arrow function always equals this value from the outer function. In other words, the arrow function resolves this lexically. So that's how it's always fixed. That is, it always refers to its outer function, this value. I will just show you one example for that. So here we are having an object, and we are having an array of two items, and then we are having a method. So here actually we are just displaying this operator. So here this whether it will be referring to object or window, because it is referring to object, since it is given in the method inside an object, so it is true. And again we are accessing this array elements, and here we are referring this dot array dot forage into an arrow function. So here the previous this was referring to object, so when we are using this arrow function, it will also be referring to the same object. So that's how it's mentioned over here. Whenever how many times we use this operator, it always refers to the same outer scope object. Now comes the second one. So here it is like we are actually not giving the arrow function, we are just giving the regular function. So here you can see that when this equals to this object is given, it is false, because this method we are actually it's invoking an array, accessing an array which is outside of its element. So for the regular function, it's actually going out of the scope, and that's why the value of this is going to be changed. And actually this will be referring to window. So that is how the difference between the arrow function and the regular function comes up. So that is a point which need to be noted for this keyword. So thank you guys. So for more videos and for more interview questions, please do subscribe my channel, and please provide the comments for any particular topic if you require, or any suggestions are required. So please do subscribe, and please do comment and like. Thank you.